I've always loved the solitude of the forest, the rustling leaves, the birdsong. It was my escape from the chaos of life. But the forest I ventured into that weekend was different. I arrived at the trailhead just before dusk, eager to explore a path I'd never taken before. A local legend called it the Whispering Forest, and I was curious to see if there was any truth to the stories. As I started down the trail, the towering trees formed a canopy overhead, filtering the fading sunlight into a soft golden glow. The air was crisp, filled with the scent of pine and earth. It felt peaceful at first, but soon an unsettling silence fell over the woods. The usual forest sounds were absent. No birdsong, no rustling leaves, just an eerie, oppressive quiet. I pressed on, telling myself it was just my imagination. But as I went deeper, I began to hear faint whispers carried on the wind. I paused, straining to listen. The whispers were indistinct, like a conversation just out of earshot. I shook my head, trying to dispel the unease creeping up my spine, and continued walking. The trail twisted and turned, leading me deeper into the heart of the forest. The trees seemed to close in around me, their gnarled branches reaching out like skeletal hands. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, as if urging me to turn back. I stopped again, heart pounding. "Hello," I called out, my voice sounding small and fragile in the vastness of the woods. There was no response, only the whispering, which seemed to mock my intrusion. Determined to uncover the source, I pushed forward, my footsteps crunching on the leaf-strewn path. The forest grew darker, the light fading faster than it should. Shadows danced at the edges of my vision, fleeting and sinister. As I rounded a bend, I stumbled upon a clearing. In its center stood an ancient twisted oak, its bark scarred and blackened. The whispers were louder here, swirling around me like a storm. I felt a chill, as if the air itself was alive, watching. I approached the tree, drawn by a force I couldn't explain. My hand reached out, fingers brushing the rough bark. The whispers crescendoed, a cacophony of voices clamoring in my mind. I staggered back, fear gripping me. Suddenly I saw them, faces in the bark, twisted in agony and despair. Their mouths moved in silent screams, eyes pleading. I stumbled away, heart racing, the whispers now a deafening roar. Panic set in, and I turned to flee, but the forest seemed to shift around me, the path obscured by shadows. I was lost, disoriented, the trees forming an impenetrable wall. With no other choice, I ran blindly, branches clawing at my skin, whispers taunting my every step. My breath came in ragged gasps, fear driving me deeper into the forest's embrace. Finally, I burst into another clearing, collapsing to my knees. The whispers faded, replaced by a heavy silence. Exhausted, I looked around, realizing I was back at the ancient oak. Despair washed over me. There was no escape. The forest had trapped me in its twisted game. As I sat there, the ground beneath me shifted, and I felt myself sinking. The earth swallowed me, pulling me into its depths. I clawed at the dirt, but the forest held tight, the whispers now a gentle lullaby. Darkness closed in, and I surrendered to the inevitable. When I awoke, I was lying at the edge of the forest, the morning sun warming my skin. Dazed, I stumbled to my feet, the memories of the night before a haunting blur. I glanced back at the forest, its trees swaying gently in the breeze, whispers gone. But I knew the truth. The whispering forest was alive, and I had been a part of its story. I left that place, the weight of its secret heavy on my shoulders. I never spoke of it, but sometimes when the wind blows just right, I hear the whispers calling me back, and I know deep down that the forest is waiting.